that has not been touched in the field, even in the field conditions, which is not been even the treatment also. So that is the one we are going to concentrate today. What are the things we are going to do? The novel modes means nothing, it's not new one, but it's only, it's there, already there, but that's not being given much importance. So that is the thing now we are going to see. So what are the important things now we are going to see is, so one is, in the Eastrum itself, there is one condition called mid-cycle Eastrum. That is a condition. We are going to discuss it in the later slides. And again, early embryonic mortality, subclinical endometritis, luteal deficiency, aging of oocytes, all these aspects we have not at all touched all these days. So this has to be taken care of for improving the fertility. And of course, it is not possible to cover all the every practical of these points in a single lecture. I have just collected some material in some areas. We can discuss it in the subsequent slides. Okay. So with all this infertility problem, so what is the thing we have done? We have been trying with some heroic attempts with using the hormone therapy. We are using a lot of hormones. Okay, but you should first ensure that hormones are always double-edged weapon. Double-edged weapon. One end is totally blunt. One end is totally sharp, nicely sharpened area, and the next end is a totally blunt. So hormones should be used very judiciously, very correctly at the correct time. Most of the time you are getting the failure with the hormone only because of judicial, without unscrupulously using the hormones. You cannot use the hormones all the time, all the hormones all the time. It is having specific time, specific dosage, specific route of administration, then only you will get the results. So that is the thing. We try to pull down all the fertility using this hormone therapy. But what happens? It's a very big question. It's a very big question because we are not getting a very big results with the hormone sometimes. For you take, if you take a GnRH, if you treat it for anistum, whether you are getting the results with the GnRH, with a very good results, induction of estrus by using GnRH, then it is a very big question. It is not a very, always GnRH is not effective. And again, other hormones are also. So we are going to see that in the subsequent slide. So the main problem is we have to understand. These are the problem with the infertility. How to approach a case of infertility and the therapy. Okay. So where we have to concentrate, this lecture is going to have. I personally have my views that as a veterinarian, as a gynecologist, as a therapist, as a infertility treatment, when we are going for infertility treatment, we should know the basics of follicular dynamics. The word seems to be very big. What is a follicular dynamics? But it's not that much. It's very easy. It is very easy to understand. Without understanding this follicular dynamics, the future of infertility therapy is not going to be functioning properly. It is the major function. It is a very, very important one. Without knowing the follicular dynamics, if you are going to touch the infertility therapy, then we are going to end up in somewhere. Sometimes we may get a result, sometimes we may not be getting a result. So it is very important that we should understand the concept of follicular dynamics. And the second thing is very pet and very near to me is all the veterinarians, as a gynecologist, as a veterinarian, as we are going to treat, we should know the application of reproductive ultrasonography for the precise diagnosis of infertility. Because in the present scenario, we could see that lot of cases can be diagnosed correctly using reproductive ultrasonography. So my wish in the future is all the veterinarians should be a well-versed person in using the ultrasonography. But today I am not going to tell anything about ultrasonography because it is a wide area. I don't want to take all the much of time in the reproductive ultrasonography. If I'm getting a chance again, I may be getting to you along with the reproductive. But today we are going to see about the follicular dynamics, where these follicular problems are occurring and through which the infertility is there and how to rectify it. This is the area I want to make it. Little bit of basics I am going to try in this area. So, and that again, how to remedy for the same also. Okay, you can just go through, come through me through these slides. Okay. So generally, the fertility There are three important factors that is going to govern the fertility. You just think yourself, there should be an occur ovulation of a fertilizable oocyte. That means a good quality oocyte should be ovulated. Ovulation of a fertilizable oocyte should be there. And oviductal and uterine environment should be proper for the pregnancy to be maintained. This is one thing. And the third thing is endocrinologically competent corpus luteum. These three are the important factors that is going to govern the fertility. You just think here. Think here. There is one structure in the ovary that is going to control all these three: ovulation of a fertilizable oocyte, oviductal and uterine environment, and endocrinologically competent corpus luteum. Corpus luteum should be competent enough to maintain the pregnancy. But all these three factors are going to be governed by a single structure in a ovary. Can you suggest or can you imagine? This is the thing: follicle. Follicle is the one structure that governs all the other factors that is important for the fertility. You just think the follicle is having a oocyte within it before ovulation. So the quality of the oocyte is being maintained by the environment of the follicle within the where it is. So follicle, the quality of the oocyte is submitted is governed by the follicle itself. Okay, and then you have to see the corpus luteum. From where the corpus luteum is formed? Corpus luteum is formed from the granulosa cells and from the follicle, from the ovulated follicle only. So if the corpus luteum quality should be good, means the follicle quality should be good also. And again, the hormones secreted by both of these structures: estrogen secreted by the follicle, progesterone secreted by the corpus luteum, each is very important for maintaining the uterine environment. If now you see that if a follicle is good, the oocyte will be good, the resulting corpus luteum will be good, and the endocrinology will be good, so that the uterine environment will be good, and it will be good for the conception, for the fertility. This is very important. Okay, if the follicle is good, everything is good. That should be in your mind. That's the thing. So here I want to say a very important one thing. The fertility in case of any physical life to attend. So you just see that a heartbeat is very important. Likewise, ovaries is very important. It's not a simple thing. Ovary is not a simple thing, and it is functioning all through our reproductive life. Very important. It is very important. Just like a heartbeat, how ovaries are also functioning. The follicles are developing and regressing. Corpus luteum is developing and regressing. It's totally, completely just like a heartbeat. So only I gave the name as gonadal beat. So the follicle, the ovary is very, very, very important structure for the reproduction in this aspect. You just see here, there are about millions of follicles are there with the oocyte waiting. What is the function of this? What is the need of these follicles? This follicle has to ovulate. All the aim of the follicles is to ovulate their oocyte out. This is the main function of this follicles. There are about 1 million follicle, 1 lakh to 2 lakhs follicle at the time of puberty. The main aim of all these follicles is to ovulate. But whether it happens in all the animals, it is not at all possible. It is not at all possible. There will not, all the follicles are not ovulating. So what is happening? That is very important. This is follicular dynamics. You just spare with me for another few minutes before going into the practical, so that before understanding the follicular dynamics is very, very important. If there is any problem in this follicular dynamics, it will go for infertility. That is the main thing I want to say, because it is a complex set of dynamic signals. If there is no problem, if there is a problem with it, then everything will be a problem. You just see, now I want you to understand, this is, now you have to imagine, this is a estrous cycle for 21 days period. You can just see, it's a 21 days estrous cycle, 21 days, Easter 21 days. All we know is, at the time of estrus, there will be a Graafian follicle. There will be a mature Graafian follicle that is secreting the estrogen, and animal is exhibiting the estrus. That is the thing. And in the next 21 days, there is again next follicle is the Graafian follicle is there, and it will secrete estrogen, and the animal will show the signs of estrus. This is the thing we know. There is a thing, there is a graphene follicle here and another graphene follicle in the next ESM. So what happens during the next 21 days? What happens between these 21 days? That is very, very, very important. If you understand this, then everything will be simple. Infertility treatment will be simple. This is the thing. So this is during these 21 days, what is happening within the ovary, You just see here. This is the ovary, and this is the ovary and reserve. Already ovary is having some, I told that there are about 1 to 2 lakhs of oocytes are there, or follicles are there waiting for its turn for ovulation. This is just like a follicular politics. I just know the follicle, it is not follicular dynamics, it is follicular politics. Just like our own, our state or Indian politics, this is just like a politics. You just see here, there is a follicle on day 0. Whenever I say day 0, it is day 0. That is eastrum. When it's on the day of eastrum, that you are going to have a follicle, mature graphene follicle is there. It will get ovulated. The next day it will get ovulated. Well, that means that it is going to form a corpus luteum and it is died. That's the thing. That follicle was there previous on the one day and it has now died. It is not there and it has become a corpus luteum. So you just see in a political party, if there is going to be a leader and that leader has passed away or is coming down of his position, okay, that leader has passed away. What will happen to that political party? Definitely another 10 to 15 members from the same party will fight for the leadership. That the leadership is nothing but fight for the ovulatory position. They will fight for the ovulatory here. They will fight for the ovulatory position. Likewise, here in case of follicles, once the follicle has died, that is it has ovulated. The very next day, day 1 or 2, day 0 is always eastrum. You just think day 0 is eastrum. The day 1 or 2, a group of 10 to 15 follicles, just like our local political people, 10 to 15 follicles are getting recruited. This is called the recruitment. It's called recruited. They will all try to become the leader. They will all try to become, 2 to 3 days, they will be growing in the same fashion. They will be growing in the same fashion. They will try to ovulate. But among them, whether all can become a leader? No, it's not at all possible, no. So only one will become a leader. That is called the dominant follicle. This is the dominant follicle. The others will go for atresia or death. It will go for a death. This dominant follicle will reach a maximum size. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Start my video on the okay. Here, okay, this is the dominant follicle. It is going for a dominant follicle. This is a dominant follicle. The rest of the follicles will die. That's the thing. In case of human or any female of any species, this is a problem. One time there will be once the number of follicles is fixed at the time of birth. There is a number of follicles is fixed at the time of birth. So after that only ovulation or atresia, that's all. So only they are getting menopause, or in case of animal, it is going for reproductive senescence. Here what happens? Only one follicle will go for a dominant follicle. It will try to ovulate. By day 6 or 7, it will reach the maximum size of 12 to 14 millimeters. Then it will try to ovulate. Whether this dominant follicle can ovulate at this time junction of day 6 or 7, it's not possible. Why? There is a bigger leader than that. That is the corpus luteum. That corpus luteum will prevent the ovulation of the dominant follicle. It will try. This dominant follicle will try to ovulate. This dominant follicle will try to ovulate, but it cannot. So what happens? It will go for atresia. Or death. It will again go for death. So again, what happens? As I already told, one leader has died, and another group of people will arise. No, likewise, when the follicle has died, this has not ovulated, it has died, and the next group of follicle will get recruited by day 9 or 10 of the cycle. And again, it will be the same procedure. So all will grow in the same fashion for 2 to 3 days, and among them one dominant follicle will come out, and the others will die. But this follicle can ovulate. When it can ovulate? If the dominant with the CL has regressed. Lysis of CL. If there is a lysis of CL, this dominant follicle will take an upper hand and it will go for ovulation. This is called the follicular dice. Simple, it's only thing. So here you can see a wave-like thing. You can see the dominant follicle is rising, reaching a maximum diameter and coming down. You can see a rise and fall, just like a wave, just like a fire. So this is called the follicular wave. This is occurring. This is occurring continuously till the reproductive life. This is only I told it is a gonadal beat. It is a gonadal beat. The ovary is not sleeping. Ovary is not at all sleeping. Ovary is always working. Only if it is fine, the follicles will find a good time for ovulation. What is a good time for ovulation? When there is a progesterone loss. Progesterone is going down because of the lysis of Cl. Then the follicle will take upper hand and it will go for ovulation. This is a follicular wave. Okay. I think you can understand this, or you can ask me the question in the final. Okay. So this is the thing that's happened. I told that the recruitment and one dominant follicle is getting selected and it is reached the maximum size. The dominant, that's day 6, by day 5 or 6, it will reach the maximum size. And if it cannot ovulate, it will go for atresia. This is a follicular wave. If there is a possible condition with the progesterone coming down, the follicle will ovulate. That is a ovulation. Otherwise, it cannot ovulate unless you should think here two things here. The dominant follicle will reach the first wave. This is called the first follicular wave. This is called the first follicular wave. This is called the first follicular wave. That is the dominant here, and the follicle will cannot ovulate till the Cl is getting lysed. That is the one thing you have to see. And this is a type of follicular waves. During a estrous cycle, there will be two waves. There will be two wave cycles. That is here you can see the first wave. The follicle has reached the maximum size and it cannot ovulate because of Cl, and it is coming down. And the second wave is rising by day 9 or 10 and it is again moving up. And by this time, when the follicle, if this follicle can reach the time when the Cl is getting lysed, then this follicle will go for ovulation. This is called a two-wave cycle. This is called a two-wave cycle. It is having one wave and two wave. Okay, this is called two-wave cycle. And again, there are another type of cycle. Here you can see the first wave has emerged again by day 6 or 7, reaching the maximum size, but again it's going down. Okay, the second wave is emerging by day 9 or 10, and it is trying to go up, but again with the Cl, if the Cl is strong enough, this follicle also cannot ovulate, and it is again going for atresia. And the third wave is emerging by day 15 or 16, and it will this time by day 15 or 16, because by lysis will occur by 17 or 18 days. So this follicle is getting that advantage of low progesterone level, and this follicle will go for ovulation. Okay, this is called three follicular wave, three wave cycle. Likewise, there are a lot of cycle, four wave cycle, single wave cycle, lot of that. But 2 and 3 follicular wave cycles are the more common. This you should understand first before going into subject topic. This is very important. The follicular waves is very important. 2 wave cycle, 3 wave cycles are occurring in the cattle normally. Okay. Now I'm coming to a question to you. I think most of you, almost all, would have experienced the animal showing signs of estrus within 5 to 12 days after the insemination. I think you agree. Most of the animals, nowadays we could see that you inseminate the animal, but the animal is showing the signs again, recurring of signs within 5 to 12 days. 1 week to over 7 to 10 days, you can expect an animal to show the signs. Okay. Then what will be your approach towards that animal? Whether you are going to inseminate the animal again, or you will leave the animal and wait for the next estrus. If I put this question in a forum, in my experience, I got several answers. Most of them say that we will leave the animal and ask the owner to come after the next estrus. So by 60%. The next 40% are saying that we will inseminate the animal. So if the animal is showing the signs, that we can't miss it, sir. So we will inseminate the animal. So what is the problem here? What is the condition here? Why there is animal is showing a frequent estrus within 5 to 10 days of it need not be a cystic one. It need not be a cystic one. You should think, everybody will again think that there is a cystic condition, but it is not called. It is not like that. It is not like that. Okay. So why there is a recurrence of estrus is there? Why there is a recurrence of estrus is there? Okay. That's the thing is now coming. This is called mid-cycle eastrum. This is called mid-cycle eastrum. This is just a behavioral stress during the mid-luteal phase. You just think, animal in the luteal phase during the progesterone phase, that is a mid-luteal, this is a luteal phase, diastrum, animal is showing the signs of eastrum. Thus, I underlined here, behavioral stress. Animal is only showing the behavioral stress. Okay, why it is occurring? If you understand follicular dynamics, then you will understand this also. Okay, I have told that there are waves of follicular is occurring. Okay, now you can see I have made the picture also here. Okay, the estradiol secreted by the dominant follicle of first follicular wave or second follicular wave, that induces the estrus signs. But whether if you inseminate this animal in this estrus, mid-cycle estrus, if you inseminate the animal in this, there won't be any conception at all. This is one problem in the field. So if you are inseminating the animal without knowing whether it is a true eastrum or mid-cycle eastrum, animal will surely come to repeaters. The animal won't conceive at all. I put the word as pseudo repeat breeders. They are not repeat breeders actually. They are pseudo repeat breeders. Okay. So why there is no conception? If you inseminate this animal, animal will show the signs. Animal will normally show the signs of eastrum, will show the sign, discharge will be there. When you see that, if you put the hand inside, the animal will be having a tonicity of the uterus will be there. Everything will, vaginal congestion will be there. Everything typically as that of an eastrum. But if you inseminate the animal, animal won't conceive at all. Why? Because there won't be any ovulation at all. Why it is there won't be any ovulation in mid-cycle eastrum? Because there is a higher hand here. As far as the progesterone is there, it won't allow the follicle to ovulate. What you are going to do if you are going to inseminate the animal in mid-cycle eastrum, if there is no ovulation at all, animal won't conceive. You will just inseminate. And if you are going to again inseminate in the animal in the next 20 days, animal is again showing the mid-cycle eastrum. If you are going to inseminate the animal, animal won't conceive at all. You will say that it is a repeat breeder, but it is not a repeat breeder. Animal is having some other problem. And one more condition is also might occur if you are inseminating in the mid-cycle eastrum. What is the problem here is embryonic mortality. 10 days before you would have inseminated the animal in the normal good eastrum, true eastrum, animal would have conceived, already embryo would have formed. But 10 days after, if you are going to inseminate the animal, what happens? That embryo might die. That embryo might die and the animal will not conceive again. So you have to wait for next thing. So even if the conception have already occurred, you will hinder in that conception. So the problem with mid-cycle eastrum is this is the one very important one in the field conditions. You have to do that. So what you have to do? How to diagnose is whether this animal is in mid-cycle eastrum or true eastrum. How to diagnose it is very important. You just check if this is if the animal is repeating for you. Now we ourselves in colleges, what we say that even for students we say that don't check the ovary at the time of insemination. Why we are saying that? Because at the time of we are checking the ovary, sometimes we may be positioned, we'll change the position of the fallopian tube. So ovulation might be disturbed, like that we are saying. But if there is a problem with repeat breeding condition, then you have to definitely go for CL palpation. You just go ovarian palpation, go for ovarian palpation. Presence of regressed CL, that is the true eastrum. If you could see a prominent CL, that is not a true eastrum, that is a mid-cycle eastrum. If that in such conditions, you tell the owner to ask the owner to come after 10 days in the next eastrum. Don't inseminate that animal. If you are going to inseminate the animal, just there is not going to be any use, there won't be any consumption, and you will be just going for waste of money for the economy and of the farmer also. So it is not possible. You should not So diagnosis of mid-cycle eastrum and true eastrum is a very basic thing. Before going for a repeat breeder, inseminating a repeat breeder animal, you just ensure whether it is having a CL or not. Okay. Here comes ultrasound. Even though I don't want to elaborate on ultrasound, this is the importance of ultrasound I want to say here. Here you can see a picture, two ultrasound. It's a true eastrum where there is a follicle is there and a regressed corpus luteum is there. But in case of a mid-cycle eastrum, there is a dominant follicle is also there and there is a fully prominent corpus luteum is there. Okay, so this is the importance of ultrasonographic diagnosis. We can diagnose the, in case of embedded CL and all, if you cannot go for examining the CL properly, so this ultrasonographic will be useful in that condition. Okay, we will see in the next presentations about that. And this is the thing, you have to inseminate only in the day 0, that is eastrum. Whenever you say day 0, it is day, so it should be inseminated. But this is a thing you should not inseminate. If you are going to have it in the middle of the cycle, if eastrum is going to be in the middle of the cycle with the prominent CL, don't inseminate that animal. That's a culprit waiting for you to have face a failure in the field conditions. So don't inseminate the animal in the mid-cycle eastrum. Okay. So what's the reason for this mid-cycle eastrum? This is due to the low levels of progesterone during the mid-luteal phase. Sometimes there is a luteal insufficiency. I already told that when there is a follicle is there, you're reaching the maximum size and try to ovulate, but the CL will suppress this follicle. But here what happens, the progesterone is low enough. Progesterone is low enough. So what is happening is the estradiol secreted by the dominant follicle of first follicular wave or second follicular wave will override. It will suppress the progesterone and will show the signs of estrus, but it cannot ovulate because progesterone level is more than 1 nanogram per ml. So it will not allow the ovulation, but estrus signs only it will be there. So the animals frequently exhibiting this mid-cycle estrus may be a repeaters due to this poor progesterone condition, also insufficiency. That is also one of the reason for the repeaters. We could see that the animals are repeaters. Such animals which are going to exhibit the mid-cycle estrus are usually repeaters also. So what is the solution for that? GnRH analog on the day of mid-cycle estrus. GnRH analog, Vaseline acetate. Okay, I will tell everything in the there is one solution for everything that I am going to tell how much you have to give and everything in the coming slides. Okay, you just see that if there is animal is coming to be you inseminated 10 days back and the animal is coming to you again, and the animal, if it is you confirm that it is a mid-cycle estrus, you give a dose of GnRH analog. Okay, this is one of the treatment for mid-cycle to prevent the mid-cycle estrus or to enhance the progesterone in the mid-cycle estrus. That is, I'll do how you say how is it possible. Okay. So now the next condition we have seen about the mid-cycle estrus, and next condition based on the follicular dynamics. I have told that there are 2 follicular wave cycles and 3 follicular cycles, but you can't fix it to any animal. This animal is going to have a 2 follicular wave cycles, and this animal is going to have a 3 follicle. Nothing can be done. No, by seeing an animal, it is not at all possible. Even by ultrasonography doing on the day of estrus, it is not at all possible. By say that this animal is having a 2 wave cycles or 3 wave cycles. And again, there is one more problem is the follicular wave pattern will differ between subsequent cycles also. The previous cycle will be having a 2 wave. The subsequent cycle will be having a 3 wave. A lot of factors are controlling. Even lot of climate, nutrition, everything is controlling this follicular wave pattern. So what is the problem with this? These variations are having the effect on the fertility status of the individual animal. This is also having important. This is the so only I'm stressing on this area. There is also uncertainty or inconsistent response to our estrus synchronization protocols, Wovsing protocol or whatever may be the thing, CAD or whatever the protocol. They are going. This follicular variation in follicular turnover between the animals and within the animals between cycles, there is a problem. So if there is a variation, how is it going to affect the fertility? You just see here. Here, I have just given a representation of a follicular wave. Here you can see it's a 2-wave follicular cycle. 2-wave, as I already told, 2-wave, 3-wave. It's a 2-wave follicular cycle. The first wave is emerging by day 0, that is a day 1 or day 0, that is emerging, and it is coming up and coming down. Okay, so the next follicular wave is emerging by day 9 or 10. This follicle is growing slowly, and taking the upper hand of the progesterone is slowly reaching the, waiting for the CL lysis, and still it can survive and reach the point of 21 days to go for ovulation. It is taking a time. How much time it takes? You just see here, from 10 to 21 days, around 10 to 11 days. Okay, it is in the marathon runner. It is a long distance. It is a sprinter. It's not a sprinter. It is a very long distance runner. Two follicular waves. It's going to have a long distance. It's going to travel a very big 10 to 20, 11 days. It has to travel to reach the point of ovulation. So what happens? What happens? The follicle is having that oocyte inside. That oocyte is aged. This 10 to 11 days period, the follicle, the oocyte within this follicle will get aged. So if you're going to inseminate such animal with 2-wave cycles, the chances of conception is low. The chances of conception is low. On the other hand, the animal is going to have a 3-wave cycle. You just see here. If animal is going to have a 3-wave cycle, the first wave is coming by 0 day, and the second wave is emerging by day 10, and it cannot survive, and the third wave is emerging by day 16. And by day 16, you know that 17 or 18, the lysis occurs and the follicle is going for ovulation. Okay, how much time it takes to get the ovulation period? Only 5 to 6 days. Only 5. It is a sprinter. It is a 100-meter sprinter. Only within 5 to 6 days, it is reaching the point of ovulation. It is reaching the point of ovulation. Okay. So what happens? The oocyte within the follicle is very young, very virgin, very young. Okay. Very healthy. Okay. It is having the capability of getting fertilized easily. So it is having a very healthy oocyte. 3-wave cycles are having a better fertility because of one of the reason for a better fertility is good oocyte. As I already told in the first few slides, oocyte aging. We are not considered about the oocyte aging previously, but now we have to know that the oocyte aging is also one of the factor for controlling the fertility. So 3-wave cycles are having a better fertility than 2-wave cycles. Okay, this is one of the point. This is oocyte aging is one of the point. Advantage in 3-wave cycles. So one more advantage is also there. I just go for that. That is the luteal dominance. You all know that corpus luteum is very important for the maintenance of pregnancy, maternal recognition of pregnancy. It is very critical for the embryonic maintenance. It prepares for the implantation and everything. So the period of luteal period, there is a luteal dominance is very important. Luteal, how much days this corpus luteum is being dominant enough to sustain its embryo, that is very important. So corpus luteum is very important, and the progesterone secreted by is very important. So what is the study conducted by us showed that in case of 2-wave cycles, the luteal dominance is attained in the later stage and it is going for early lysis. And in case of 3-wave cycles, and it is attaining the luteal dominance in the earlier age, and it is sustaining for a much later period. Lysis is much later in case of 3-wave cycle. That shows that the period of, you just take this one point alone, no need to confuse anything. You just take this point alone. The period of luteal dominance is more. It is around 7 days in case of 3-wave cycles, but it's only 5 days in case. That shows that the luteal sustenance is very short in case of 2-wave cycles. This is very important. As I already told, 2-wave cycles are very, progesterone is very important for the maintenance of. Likewise, we got say luteal dominance is very important for the maintenance of pregnancy. So here, the corpus luteum of 3-wave cycles, it is comparatively larger in size, and it is attaining the maximum diameter earlier, and late initiation of lysis and longer period of luteal dominance. That's very important. Longer period of luteal dominance. That is very important. This thing makes the 3-wave cycles are more powerful than the 2-wave cycles. So one thing is the oocyte is of good quality. It's not aged in 3-wave cycles. And luteal dominance, again, it is having a very good corpus luteum competence. These two is going to have the importance on the fertility. Okay, so how we are going to do this? So we are trying a lot of protocols. We are treating the animals with a lot of protocols. Okay, that may be a prostaglandin protocol, GnRH based protocol, progesterone based protocol, whatever may be the for infertility. We are trying a lot of things. But most of the time, our target is missed. Our target is missed. So what's the problem? I don't want to discuss about prostaglandin and progesterone in this. I just want to concentrate on the GnRH alone in this given period. Okay. So now You just see what is our expectation with GnRH. When we give a GnRH in the field conditions, why we are giving GnRH? What is our thinking is GnRH. Okay, when we give GnRH, that LH will be released. Okay, LH will be released. Okay, this LH will cause the ovulation and Cl formation or luteinization. Okay, these are the things. GnRH will go for LH secretion and LH will cause the ovulation and Cl formation or at least luteinization. Whether it is possible always when you give a GnRH, whether it is possible, whenever you give a GnRH, whether it will happen, that is a very big question, very $1 billion question here, $1 million question here, whether it will go for ovulation, whether the follicle will go for ovulation or luteinization. Okay. So here, GnRH based follicle, the protocols, the stimulation GnRH most successful only if the dominant follicle is in the growing phase. That only I told about that follicular dynamics. It is growing from the millimeter, from 4 millimeters to 12 millimeters up to day 6 or 7. I think I told, no, dominant follicle should be in the growing phase. It should be in the growing. It should be growing. It should not be in the regression phase. It should not be in the atretic phase. It should not be in the atretic phase. It should be in the growing phase, and it should be more than 9 millimeter size. Only if this condition is there, your GnRH will be effective. It is not possible under field conditions to go every time and see for ultrasonography and see for whether the follicle are there. It is not at all possible. But I will give you a solution for this. Okay. So why follicle is not effective in other stages when the follicle is less than 9 millimeter, or if it is in the atretic or in the regression phase, this follicle is not responsible, is not responding to your GnRH. It is not ovulating. Why it is not responding? If the LH receptors, LH receptor should be there within the follicle. There should be LH receptors within the follicle. What are the receptors? The receptors are nothing but the receiving hands. Now we can give a free meal scheme. Now we can give a lot of, and in this COVID situation, we are going a lot of good things. We are going to distribute good foods for lot of thousands of people. Okay, it's a very good scenario. But what's the problem? You have prepared food for 1,000 people. And if you are going to have only 10 members or 20 members to receive the food, what is the problem? Everything will be wasted. Likewise, if there is a LH, only if there is going to be a LH receptor, that is a hands to receive the LH. If you're going to if you're going to give a GnRH, LH will be released. But this LH should be received by the receptors in the follicle. If there is no receptors at all, how the follicle will ovulate? It is not at all possible. Okay. So for this thing, the follicle should be in a growing phase and it should be more than 9 millimeters in size. Okay. So when it is possible, when you are going to get this scenario of dominant follicle in growing phase and more than 9 millimeter diameter, okay, you just see, I have already told that it should be in the growing phase and it should be more than 9 millimeter. When it is possible, day 5 or 6 of the cycle. When I say day 5 or 6 of the cycle, what is day 0? Day 0 is always eastrum. Onset of eastrum. Onset of eastrum is day 0. So we have to count the onset of eastrum. Day 0, onset of eastrum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6th, 5, 5th or 6th day alone, your GnRH will be effective. Or it should be given in the onset of eastrum. I will come in the next. So your GnRH will be effective 5 hours. If you are going to give on any other day during a cycle, the GnRH is not going to be effective. So here, the follicular dynamics, how it is going to, we can regulate the follicular dynamics. As I already told, 3-wave cycles are better than 2-wave cycles. Is it possible to convert, whether it is possible to make an animal to have a 3-wave cycle? Yes, it is possible. That's the thing I told, that it is possible to make an animal. If that animal is going to be a 2-wave cycle, it can be converted into an animal to have a 3-wave cycle that is having a better fertility. How it can be done? By removing the dominant follicle of the first follicular wave. By removing, that is we are going to do hormonally, and promoting the emergence of next follicular wave. That is the thing. These two things can happen, should happen. How it can be done? You just administer GnRH on day 5 or 6. Be more precise. More precise. Day 5 or 6. Just it's not a very basic max. It's just very important. Day 5 or 6 is very important. Okay, day 0 is eastrum, onset of eastrum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the 5th or 6th day, you give the GnRH. That is day 0 is onset of eastrum. So what is the thing happening? By giving, here you see, this is a two-wave cycle. This is a representation of a two-wave cycle, 21-day cycle, but it is having, that animal is having a two-wave cycle. Okay, the animal is having a two-wave cycle. Then how it can be converted into a three-wave cycle? You give a GnRH, shot of GnRH on day 6 of the cycle. 5 or 6, 6 will be more precise. Okay, 5 or 6 is precise. Don't go to day 7. Don't go to day 4. Very important. If you go to day 7, you will not get 100% result. If you go to day 4, no 100% result. If you go to day 8, no 100% result. Day 5 or 6, 100% sure result you will have. You just see here. When you give a GnRH on day 6, that follicle will ovulate. That follicle will ovulate. There is already one more corpus luteum is there. You just imagine you are giving it on the day 6. There's already a corpus luteum started from here. Spontaneous corpus luteum is already there. Okay, spontaneous corpus luteum is already there. You are giving a shot of GnRH on day 6. One follicle is again ovulated. The dominant follicle, the first follicle is again ovulated, and a second corpus luteum will be formed. And here, within 48 hours, on day 8, day 6 you are going to give a GnRH, day 8 a new follicular wave will emerge. What you have seen in the normal cycles, the new follicle, the second follicular wave will emerge only by day 9 or 10. Okay, by day 9 or 10 only. But here we have preponing the emergence of the second follicular wave by day 8. You just see it is by day 8 the new follicular wave is emerging, and it is started growing. As such, in follicular politics, only one will get a dominance and it will grow for the maximum size. But here already with a single corpus luteum alone, sometimes the follicle cannot grow to the ovulation. But here we are going to have two corpus luteum, one spontaneous corpus luteum, and ovulation of the first dominant follicular wave leads to accessory corpus. That is what it's called, accessory corpus luteum. One corpus spontaneous and another accessory corpus luteum. So what happens? This follicle cannot go for ovulation. Definitely it will go for death. It will go for atresia. And a new follicular wave will emerge by 15th day. 15th day. And it will grow and it will go for ovulation. Now we have, you just see here, it's a two-wave cycle. By giving GnRH on day 6, we have converted into a three-wave cycle, more fertile cycle. You just see. Okay, by giving GnRH on day 6, you have converted it into a three-wave cycle. This is possible by giving GnRH on day 6 of the cycle. This is the advantage of, you are improving the fertility of the animal. Okay, so this is of ultrasonographic picture. You can see here on GnRH, this black spot is a dominant follicle on the day 6 when we are going to give a GnRH. And the next day, you can see day 7, by 24, 26, still the follicle is there. Still the follicle. By 29 hours, you can see the follicle has ovulated. 29 hours, the follicle has ovulated. By GnRH, is there. Okay, it's the GnRH. And a new follicular wave is emerged by due day 8. More number of small follicles you can see here in the ovary. So this is ultrasonographic documentation that it is possible. You can ovulate the first follicular dominant, first follicular wave dominant follicle using GnRH. Okay. And as I already told, instead of one corpus luteum, here you can see there is a one corpus, spontaneous corpus luteum. Because of induction of additional ovulation, you can have an accessory corpus luteum here. Two corpus luteum will be there. Instead of one corpus luteum, animal will have two corpus luteum. So what happens? The progesterone level naturally goes up. Endogenously, animal itself will secrete more corpus, more progesterone. If there is going to be luteal insufficiency, animal is going to repeat due to early embryonic mortality. If you give a day 6 GnRH, it will take care of that. The progesterone will take an upper hand here in case of naturally. There is no need to give a progesterone exogenously, endogenously within the animal itself, animal will secrete more progesterone because of this additional corpus luteum, accessory corpus luteum. It's a wonder. This is a wonder by giving GnRH on day 6. Okay. This technology is called follicular wave synchronization. We would have been taught about estrous cycle synchronization. We would have been taught about the estrous cycle synchronization. But this is follicular wave synchronization. We are going to synchronize the follicular wave by giving the GnRH a new follicular wave. We are going to produce a new follicular wave in the day 8 instead of day 9 or 10. You are synchronizing the follicular wave. So what happens by administration of GnRH on day 6? These are the 5 points as possible by administering GnRH on day 6. Ovulation of the dominant follicle in all the animals. All the animals on day 6 is possible. If you give it on day 7, 100% is not possible, and by day 8 it's not at all possible at all. Only by day 6 or day 5, at the most day 5. That's the only possibility you can make it, or shift you can make it. Otherwise, it should not. Day 6 is very good. Emergence of second follicular wave by day 8, it is also possible. 100% all the animals will have that. Occurrence of 3 waves. 2 waves will be converted into 3 waves in all the animals. Okay. And formation of accessory corpus luteum, all the animals. And increase in progesterone, all the animal. But 2 times it will be increase in the progesterone in the mid cycle. When we need a high level of progesterone for the maintenance of embryo and pregnancy, progesterone will be increased by this technology. The concept of induction of 3 follicular waves and increasing the endogenous secretion of progesterone by this technique improve the fertility in repeat breeding crossbred cattle. It's one of the important treatment that can be tried and which has not been tapped much in the field conditions. You can try this GnRH on day 6, but you should be very precise in fixing the day 6. It should not be day 7 or day 8. That's very important. Okay. So this intervention, how it is going to helpful in the fertility? There are 2 ways it is going to help you. It is 2 ways it is going to be helpful. Inseminate the animal on the day of. First, how to approach this case? If you are having a repeater animal, that animal is regularly repeating, everything is normal, animal is normally ovulating, sir, everything is happening, sir, but still it is not, there is no infection, sir, there is no infection, but there is no ovulation is proper, sir. I checked on the 10th day, ovulation is proper, sir. The mid-cycle, it's not a mid-cycle eastrum, sir. Animal is properly having a true eastrum. Everything is happening, but still animal is repeating. Insemination is proper, sir. It is also doing, sir. No problem at all, sir. But still animal is not. They are repeat breeding. You try this technology. You just try this technology. Inseminate the animal on the day of observed eastrum. Okay, day 0. Again, when I come to insemination, I want to again tell one more thing. Here is inseminating. Nowadays, we could see that animals are being coming to eastrum or 2 to 3 days. Prolonged eastrum is there. So nowadays, one single insemination, it's not at all sufficient. It's not at all sufficient. So go for second day insemination also. This is must. Nowadays, it is very, very must. Don't stop with single day insemination. Go for second insemination. No problem at all. There won't be any problem with that one. You just go for second day insemination. And we are following to your message. I just want to say, if the animal is showing the third day estrus also, we are inseminating the animal on the third day also. We are inseminating the animal on the third day also, and we are getting a consumption of 5 to 10% increase in the consumption is very important because of the delayed ovulation. As I already said, it's going to be due to the delayed ovulation. So I want to say, inseminate the animal on the day of observed eastrum, day 0. I am always saying that day of observed eastrum. Why I am telling that is a day of observed eastrum? The animal would have been come to eastrum the previous day evening. The animal will be coming to only in the next day morning. Okay, the animal will be inseminating on the next day. So that is day 1. You have to check that with the owner whether the onset of estrus is by day 0. That is the next previous day. That should be the day 0. You should calculate that as the day 0. It is not the day of insemination. If the onset of eastrum is the previous day, that should be day 0. Okay, then you calculate. You inseminate today, tomorrow. That's all. The onset of eastrum. Then you calculate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th day. You administer GnRH analog, bacillin acetate, 10 microgram IM. And one thing I want to say here, it may be a joke for you, but it may be a thing. Even 5 microgram is sufficient to insert ovulate a dominant follicle of the first follicular wave if you are going to give it correctly by day 5 or 6. No need to give even 10 microgram. But in the field conditions, what we are going to do, we are increasing the dose of GnRH for 20 microgram, 30 microgram, 40 microgram to induce ovulation. This is not at all needed. If you are going to give the GnRH at the correct stage of cycle, 8 to 10 microgram, I'm just again reducing, 8 to 10 microgram, 2 ml is sufficient to induce the ovulation of the follicle. Only if there is going to be a, what we can say, if we are going to delay the day of injection by day 7 or 8, then only you have to go for that. But there is no need of increasing the dosage. 8 to 10 microgram dosage is more than sufficient for GnRH. So administer GnRH on day 6. This will increase the consumption in a repeat breeder if the lowered fertility in that animal is due to decreased progesterone concentration in the mid-cycle. Luteal insufficiency in all. If that animal is repeating due to luteal insufficiency, this GnRH on day 6 alone it will take up, because you are going to have a 2 corpus luteum in the mid-cycle. So the progesterone level will increase. So that itself will take that chance, and the animal will be, chances of conception is more by this. If the animal is repeating due to low progesterone concentration during the mid-cycle. If the animal returns again in the eastern, don't worry. Sir, I given the GnRH and day 6, sir, but animal is repeated again. Don't worry. Don't worry. That animal, that eastern, return to the eastern, no, that follicle is of a third follicular wave follicle. Third wave follicle. So what is the advantage of third wave follicle? It is a young, virgin, and it is a very good healthy oocyte. Okay, healthy oocyte. So if you inseminate in such conditions, you inseminate the animal again. Don't leave that. That's his stress is very important, because if the lowered fertility inside that animal is due to occurrence of 2 wave cycles, you have converted it into a 3 wave cycle, and you are now inseminating the animal. I think I'm coming to your point, because here 2 wave that is there. First thing is that you can increase the progesterone, and second thing, convert it into 2 wave, 3 wave. So inseminate the animal. The follicular synchronized technology is inseminate the animal on day 0 and administer J6 GnRH. If the animal is conceived, okay. But if the animal returns, don't worry. It is a 3 wave cycle. So inseminate the animal, the chances of conception is more. This is a very important technology. This is a very important technology for a. So now we have seen about the mid-cycle eastrum as well as the conditions of luteal insufficiency and conditions of occurrence of 2 follicular waves, that is the aging of oocyte. These 3 conditions can be corrected by a single technology. 3 important conditions that is not being tapped much in the field condition. These 3 conditions, you just try GnRH on day 6 of the cycle. This is very good technology. You can try it and you can come to me if you are getting a success, or if not also you can try and contact me also. Okay. The next thing regarding the follicular dynamics alone, again, so I'm not going into deviating into the subject, aniston, because it's also involved again the follicular dynamics. The follicular alone, it's being involved here. So only I just included this aniston also in this title. Okay, in this title. The absence of estrous signs is an important cause of infertility. Okay, the true aniston, what is the condition we are saying? Should have a smooth ovaries and no corpus luteum. Animal is not coming to eastrum, it's not showing any signs of eastrum. If the animal is not showing the signs of eastrum, but it is having a corpus luteum, then it is called false aniston. It might be silent eastrum or sub-eastrum. Okay, it is not true aniston. It can be treated accordingly. But here, true aniston is it is having a smooth ovaries and there is no corpus luteum at all. This is the thing. But usually you say that ovaries are inactive ovaries, small, smooth, inactive ovaries in case of aniston, true aniston. But whether it is correct, not at all. It is not at all inactive. As already told, ovary is one organ just after heart or on par with heart. It is functioning till the reproductive life. Till the reproductive, it is highly gonadal beat is continuously happening. But then what is the condition? What is the condition? This is not a inactive ovaries. Then what is the condition? Here, this is a condition. So only I took this anistum also. Here you see a normal cycle. It's a normal cycle. The follicular waves is occurring, okay? And here also highly active. Follicles are highly active. The follicles are growing, regressing, growing, regressing, growing and regressing. What is the difference between these two pattern? Can you identify here? There is no ovulation. That is the only problem. There is no ovulation in true anistus animal. Just like that, the follicles is just like a normal animal, the follicles will develop, regress, develop, regress, develop, regress. But there won't be any ovulation. That is a problem with. Otherwise, that is not a problem. The follicle is capable of coming, growing big, reaching the dominant size, but it is not ovulating and coming down and regressing. Okay, this is a problem. This is again ultrasonography. We can see that here in anistus animal, both the ovaries are right and left ovaries are having the follicles highly active with the dominant follicle in one of the follicles. Here, when compared between the normal eastrum and eastus follicle in a normal eastus animal and an anistus animal, there is no difference in the size of the follicle. There is only 11 millimeter and it is also 11 millimeter, equally 11 millimeter. There is no much difference in the size of the follicle. Okay. There is no difference in the follicular activity, follicular developing, there is no size in the follicle. But in spite of it, animals is not showing the signs of eastrum. So what might be the problem in such animals? There is no insulin production. Just leave these pictures. There is no insulin production in the follicle of anistum animals. That is one of the biggest problem. Insulin is very important in the estradiol secretion. Estradiol is not being, steroidogenesis is affected in the anistus follicle. So only animal is not showing the signs of his follicle is developing, capable of developing, but it is not capable of steroid production, estradiol production. There is a problem. So the animal cannot express the estrus signs actually. It cannot express the estrus signs and ovulation. And again, blood flow. The follicle is not having a very good blood flow in case of anistus animal. So that's again, the blood flow is one thing, it is going to give all the nutrients to the follicle. If there is going to be a very poor blood flow, that follicle also not going to ovulate or show the signs of eastrum. So the anistum animals, what's the problem? The follicular activity is there, the size of the follicle is normal, but the problem is within the follicle, insulin production as well as its blood flow is very much, lot of other factors are there, that's restricted to this one. That shows that the follicular maturation is not proper. In case of anistum animal, follicular development is there. Follicular development is very much there. But there is no follicular maturation. That is a problem with the anistus animal. So we have to tap this follicular maturation. If you tap this follicular maturation, the follicle can mature, secrete estradiol, and it go for ovulation. That is the thing we have to think of. So this is the line of treatment I suggest for my students, and this is the thing I want to tell you also. Line of treatment. So actually, in case of anistus animal, first and foremost, don't go for hormonal treatment at the first attempt itself. No need at all. No need at all. Because the first attempt itself, you are going for a hormone attempt. And if there is no result, what will you do then? It's a problem. It's a problem. So first you can do in a stepwise manner. And in my experience, and you also would have experienced a lot of animals, okay? Some farm, they'll be having some more animals. They have poor eustace ability. Lot of animals with anistum. You just go and check the animals, check the correctly. You go and check ovary, and check and come. Within 1 week or 4 days to 1 week, animal the owner will say, you will give a lot of treatments and such as lot of treatments. The owner will say that some animals have showed the signs of wisdom. What is the problem? What is the advantage here is? What is the advantage here is? The ovarian palpation. The ovarian palpation itself might improve the estrus condition because of increased blood flow. That is a condition. Increased blood flow, animal may show the signs of wisdom. The first should be the mineral mixture and nutritional support you have to do, and then you have to go for the non-hormonal approach. First, you can go for herbal estrus inducers. A lot of products are there. Genova is there, and Progena is there. A lot of things you can try. Okay, with cheap quality, and owners might be interested also. And clomiphene citrate. Clomiphene citrate is also one of the wonder drug. You have to dry it in the field condition. Clomiphene citrate, but it should be given along with the copper sulfate. If you are given to give it for 5 days, and it should be given properly. It should be given properly. Otherwise, If it should be given along with copper sulfate and proper manner, copper sulfate should be given first, and within 10 minutes the clomiphene should be given. If there is not going to be, if you're not going to give it in such a manner, there won't be any result. There you won't get any result in that one. Okay. And the next one is the hormonal approach, JNRH based protocol, Wowsing protocol, or progesterone based protocol, whatever the thing. So this is the line of protocol we have to try in these conditions. Okay. So in conclusion, the better understanding of follicular dynamics during an estrous cycle will aid in deciding the diagnosis and therapy of the infertility. Very good, very important thing you have to understand. Give the importance for follicular dynamics. Better try to understand that and go for infertility therapy. Ensure the status of eestrum before insemination, whether it is a true eestrum or mid-cycle eestrum. If it is a mid-cycle eestrum with the corpus luteum, don't inseminate the animal. We can very well prevent that, avoid that insemination and ask the owner to come in the next cycle. 3 follicular waves estrous cycles are more fertile than 2 wave cycles. I told because of that aging of oocytes as well as the luteal dominance. 3-wave follicular wave, that's a very good important. And follicular wave synchronization technology that is going to have on JNRH on day 6, it will contribute for the increased progesterone concentration in the mid-cycle as well as the conversion of 3-wave cycle to a 3-wave cycle. That's very important. And anestrus animals always have an active ovary. Active ovaries will be there, but they will be lacking in maturation. So the line of treatment should be to improve the follicular maturation alone. There is no need to put a higher hormone immediately for that anestrus condition. Okay. Thank you very much for the patience hearing. And any questions in this area? I am waiting for your turn.
Thank you very much, sir. This has been one of the most fascinating follicular dynamic class which our Lavates would have heard. Now I request all the participants to raise their questions in chat mode. Sir will answer.
Mid-cycle eestrum. Dr. Shobhana Sri Rajendran has asked about the mid-cycle eestrum. And Dr. Pasha, I have to wait for next Easter. That's the thing, they have answered it. Okay, I think now I have got cycle. NMC, sometimes Dr. from, I think Mr. Dr. Krishnamurthy Subramanian has given me a clarification that, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, doing A in MC, that is a mid-cycle lesion, sometimes leads to pyometra or metritis. Surely it is there are chances. Surely there are chances because you are going to interfere in the luteal phase. We are going to interfere in the luteal phase. You are going to inseminate. That will be relaxation of the cervix and everything, and you will inseminate the animal. Okay, but what happens there? What happens there is, it's in the progesterone phase, definitely it will go for infection. Only in estrogen phase, the chance of consumption, the chance of infection is low because it will be having lot of neutrophil infiltration. But in case of, if you inseminate the animal during the diastrum, that is going for chances of infection, not even pyometra, some metritis or sometimes pyometra is also possible if you are going to inseminate the animal in mid-cycle eestrum. And another, if any signs of, is there to find aged oocyte? Okay, it is not at all possible. I think Dr. S. Saira Banu has asked this question. If there is any signs of to find the aged oocyte, okay, it's not. There is no. We can't, because it is inside. It is inside that there is no signs. We can't see that. We can't see that. Only thing, even by ultrasonography, it's not possible to say that this animal is having 2-wave cycle or 3-wave cycle. So it is not possible to say it is a aged oocyte or so. Okay. I think I am clear.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Krishnamurthy Subramanian, is there any change in cycle length between 2-wave and 3-wave cycle? Okay, it's a good question actually. In 2-wave cycles, as per the Western reports, they are telling very good report because they are telling that in case of Western reports means for exotic breeds. In case of Bos Taurus, they are telling that it is having the cycle of 21 days, and for 3-wave cycle it is 23 days. But here In our animals, in my experience, it is not at all possible. Okay, in case of 2-wave cycles also and 3-wave cycles also, there is only a meager of 0.5 days difference. We could see that 3-wave cycle is a little bit lengthier, but we can't find the difference by the length of the cycle. 2-wave cycle or 3-wave cycle, it's very, very difficult, very difficult. It's difficult to determine the length of the cycle, determine the 2-wave cycle or 3-wave cycle based on the length of the cycle. Okay, this is the answer for Dr. Krishnamurthy Subramanian. And I think Dr. Arivichalan has asked for the dose on the previous slides. In the first slides, I have not given the dose, and it is, as I already told, it's 8 to 10 microgram for bacillin acetate, 8 to 10 microgram. And Shobna Sri Rajendran has asked for infertility treatment with only PGF2 alpha. Yeah, is this possible? Not only PGF2 alpha, one where it can be utilized is if the animal is not going to show the signs of eastrum, but it is going to having a sub-eastrum or silent eastrum. In such conditions, to know, go for a fixed time insemination. But such animals you can't go for. You are not seen for insemination Easter signs. Oh, you just check the animal. You just check the animal perirectally. Ovary. If there is a prominent CL, you give a shot of PGF2 alpha, and then within 48 hours you go for insemination. Animal will be in the estrus. Within animal, it is always clear that within 48 to 72 hours, animal will come to estrus if there is a prominent corpus luteum and if you're going to administer PGF2 alpha. So in that condition, the PGF2 alpha can be utilized in sub-eastrum or silent eastrum. Otherwise, PGF2 alone cannot be a solution for any infertility treatment. Is there any other questions?
Is only one dose of GnRH enough, sir?
Okay, and yeah, audible. Okay, mid-cycle eastrum. Next, okay. Doing a infertility treatment. Is only one dose of GnRH is enough. As far as the day 6 GnRH is concerned, one dose of GnRH is sufficient. No need of going for any other day. One day is sufficient. Day 5 or 6. Why I am giving this day 5 is that is one thing. Sometimes in the field they'll be having, there is a possibility of getting 100% result. Otherwise, you fix the day 6. That is the only condition. Okay, that is the only thing that can happen. Could not hear anything. Okay. Kindly put your names.
Can we use for GnRH delayed ovulation animal also?
Sir, can we use? Sir, can we use day 6 GnRH for delayed ovulation animal also? This delayed ovulation, this GnRH is not going to be helpful in delayed ovulation. Okay, this delayed ovulation, when day 6 GnRH is going to be helpful only in the ovulation of the first dominant follicular wave. Dominant follicle of the first follicular wave. Otherwise, this day 6 GnRH is nothing to do with delayed ovulation. For delayed ovulation, what you can do is you have to find the onset of eastrum and then you have to administer GnRH or LH. We are doing that. We are always administering GnRH at the time of insemination. We are not very sure, to be very pungent, we are not very sure that whether you are going to, the GnRH you are going to give at the time of insemination is going to be helpful in inducing ovulation or not. Because GnRH, if you are going to give exogenously, it will be effective only at the time of onset of eastrum. That will take care of the delayed ovulation. Otherwise, day 6 GnRH is not concerned about delayed ovulation. It is concerned about going for accessory corpus luteum formation and converting 2 waves into 3 waves. That is the only thing. Okay. So the next one, Dr. Malarkanan has asked, if we are giving GnRH, animal not conceived and coming to next heat next time, is there a need to do AA for 2 times, sir? That's the thing actually. I already told in the final slides, I think. If you are going to give GnRH on day 6 and if the animal is coming to eastrum in the next cycle, that is a very precious eastrum. You should not miss it because it is the cycle of 3rd wave cycle follicle. This is a cycle with the 3rd wave follicle which is going to have a better conception. So it should not be missed. That is the thing. I think they have asked it in the earlier stages itself. So only they are not. And is there any need of second order GnRH after making 3-wave cycle after inseminator? Yeah, you can inseminate at the time of, as I already told, at the onset of eastrum, you can always give a GnRH. That's not at all a problem. At the time of insemination, if you are very sure that is within 6 to 12 hours or so, again, that is a problem. But still, onset of the GnRH is the most appropriate time for giving GnRH. If it is more close to the onset of eastrum, you can very well give the GnRH, no problem at all. And Dr. Arivisalan has asked, fail in ovulation, true and is. Yeah, that's very good. That's very nice. That's one of the important thing. That's one of the important thing. Smooth ovaries, there won't be oasis, and ovulation also is not occurring. That is the reason for going for true anistus. Anovulatory anistus, that is the first sequel, pre-sequel for the true anistus. If there is no ovulation, animal won't cycle again. If there is no CL, animal won't cycle again. The animal will go for true anistus condition. So that is very good question. That is the thing. And Dr. Vetrivel, sir, what about animal showing continuous estrus signs for 3 days after proper EA? That is the thing. Whether continuous inseminate, that is the thing. That also I answered in my presentation. Nowadays, it is a very, very, very frequent problem. Animal is showing continuous estrus. So what you have to do in such animals is, you have to suspect ovulatory disturbance in such animals. It's a very, very crucial one. You have to suspect insemination, ovulatory disturbance. What you can do this, first day you inseminate, second day you inseminate, third day also we are inseminating. Some of the veterinarians are not inseminating, but third day also we can inseminate. But fourth day, that's not at all needed. It's not at all possible. You should not inseminate. Third day insemination is very, you can go up to third insemination. If there is insemination, if there is estrus for more than 3 days, no need of, you have to only check for ovulation. There is some problem in the ovulation. You ask the owner to come with the animal on the 10th day. You check for ovulation. If you are having a ultrasound, to check the same day or the next day. That's a problem. That's not a problem. If you are going to have without ultrasound, you ask ask the owner to come after 1 week or 10 days. Okay, that will give. If there is a CL, that shows that there is animal is in delayed ovulation. If there is no CL, that's an anovulation condition. That is a thing you have to see. So that is a thing. Day 6 GnRH is not going to interfere with the 3 days estrus signs. Okay. And then Dr. Sudha Rose has asked, GnRH is given on day 6 of estrus. Is this same applicable to CIDR insertion? It means it will also give GnRH after removal. Yeah, it can be done. It is one of the protocol of sync. There is a lot of pre-sync, e-sync, a lot of things. It's one of the e-sync protocol. It can also be done. But in our follicular wave synchronization technology, you are going to inseminate the animal on the day 1, day 0, and you are going to inject the GnRH on day 6. Though it will not be effective with this technology. Okay. So along with CIDR insertion also can be done, but it's not possible for follicular wave synchronization technology. Okay. And follicular wave estrus means, okay, follicular, Dr. Sanjay Chandra Bhattacharjee. Okay, so follicular wave estrus, not the follicular wave estrus. Actually, follicular wave will always occur within the cycle. Within the 21-day cycle, you can see that the follicular is developing and regressing in the fashion of follicular waves. That is the thing. Estrus is nothing to do. Only the final wave follicular wave the follicle of the final wave will go for the estrus signs. That is the thing. And next is Dr. Saira Banu has asked about what are herbal serum inducers. Okay,
sir, it is eastrum, sir. Eastrum.
Yeah, it's a that's a herbal estrus inducers.
Yes,
yeah.
Sir. Yes.
Yeah. That's the thing. What I mentioned is, I already told also, there are a lot of preparations. You can try that one. There are, I don't know whether I can mention proprietor names. Panlama? Can I?
No issues, sir.
No problem. Yeah. Okay. So just like that, Prajana is there, Genova is there, all of herbal preparations only. It can be used. Doctor, it can be used, no problem. That's a cheap and best. Why I made that one is, economy is again one of the important thing again for the farmers. Okay. If you are going to use hormones in the first step itself, that it will be a problem. If you are not going to get a result, then you will be switching out the next hormone and next hormone, and it will be highly costly. First, try with ovarian palpation, nutritional supplement, mineral supplement, herbal assistant uses. That is the thing. Genova, Coffee, that the Prajana, lot of things are there. It can be tried. Okay. And again, thank you, lots of compliments. Sir, what will be the second cycle? Either 2-wave cycle or 3-wave cycle? Ah, that's Dr. Satish. Okay, I'm very happy to have Satish. It's not possible to say whether after giving JNRS, that cycle will be 3-wave cycle. But the next cycle, we can't say that whether it will be a 2-wave cycle. That is a problem with the animal. That's the problem with the animal. It's not at all possible. It's not at all possible. Okay. So that is the thing. It's we can't say whether the next cycle will be a 2-wave cycle. Okay. And Dr. Nirmalan Tandavarayan. Yeah. A very interesting question, I think. Can give insulin for anesthetized animal? Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice question. There are a lot of works have been done, and in field conditions, I think even in our university, I think we are not going there, but we have done some good PG works. We have also have that postgraduate works have been done in giving insulin. That is a very big thing here. Human insulin can be used. No need to bovine insulin. There are previous papers with bovine insulin, but now human insulin is itself, because their compatibility is the same, both for the human as well as the cattle insulin, bovine insulin. Both are the same. There no problem. You can give the human insulin alone. That's available in the medical shops. Okay, you can. Dose you can give for the human insulin is 0.25 international unit per kg body weight. 0.25 international unit per kg body weight subcutaneously. In case of anesthetized animals, for continuously for 5 days. For 5 days you can give. And you can expect estrus within 1 week to 10 days. This is the thing that we have been tried, and we have also done that. And one more protocol is also there. Along with the GnRH, along with the insulin, sorry, along with for 5 days, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the 5 days you are going to give. In the 5th day, you give GnRH. On the 6th day, on the 5th day, you give the GnRH. On anesthetized animal, there is no day for anesthetized animal. Day of onset of treatment only is a day. That's the thing. You can give insulin 0.25 international unit per kg body weight subcutaneous for 5 days. And in the last day you can give GnRH, and within 1 week to 10 days, or even 2 weeks, you can get an important good result with the insulin treatment. Okay, this is, I think I'm clear here with the insulin treatment. Good question. It's a good question. Dr. Saira Banu, sorry, herbal. Yeah, okay, you just corrected it. Okay, no problem. Thank you for your. Okay, thank you. What type of ethanol drug can be given? Okay, I think next Wednesday you are going to have a very big lecture from a eminent person, Dr. N. Punyamurthy, and he is a pioneer in that ethno-veterinary drug, and he can tell a lot of aspect about that. But I will just tell a glimpse of it in my experience. The curry leaves, that simple curry leaves that we are going to use in our day-to-day spices. That is the thing, that the sambar, rasam, whatever the thing, that curry leaves, curry, that is more than sufficient to induce an estrus. It is having a very good estrus producing a concept in that. Okay. So anyway, you will be getting a very good in the next week, Wednesday. Sir, one animal showing daily in heat. How to proceed, sir? Daily in heat, you should be very precise. We should be very precise here. What is daily means whether it is going to be a frequent is daily heat. It is a daily Neestem, or 3 to 4 days it is Neestem, and again a gap, and again a 3, like that it is there. If it is going to be like the split Eastrum, then you should first see for the cystic condition. If you first having a ovary, the follicle, you just go for a cystic ovary condition. If it is going to be a cystic, you should ensure the cystic ovary, or is delayed ovulation. The ovulation also should also be, say, cystic condition, and if it is going to be delayed condition, delayed ovulation condition also should be. Then how to diagnose delayed ovulation or anovulation is examine the animal after estrus, 10 days after estrus, 1 week or 10 days after estrus. If there is a CL, then it is a delayed ovulation. If there is no CL, it is an anovulation. Okay, so it can be done. I think I answered your question. Does left ovary activity influence left ovary or vice versa? Oh, that's Okay, okay, I could understand the question.
Right, sir. That is.
Yeah, that's right. But they made it as left. Okay, no
Yes.
problem. Very Dr. Yuvarajan Palanisamy, very tricky and very complicated question is that always it is within the body. You just see that it is within the body. The left ovary, right ovary. It is for our convenience. It is our convenience. But all the follicle and the corpus luteum is secreted by the right ovary. Whether it is not going to have a effect on the left ovary, or it is not going to have effect on the right ovary. The LH is being secreted. So everything is being interlinked. Everything is being interlinked. Okay, but the effect more local. Okay, it is more local. If it is having in the right side, means if the CL is in the right side, it will be having more effect on the right side, right uterine horn, right oviduct, and everything like that only. And it will also have some effect on the left ovary also. It will be there. There is no other. It is also all interlinked by the connection. Okay, I think I answered this question. And Nandini, thank you,
That is
Doctor.
one international participant also, sir.
Oh,
From Bangladesh.
From Bangladesh. Okay,
Yes.
thanks. Oh, thank you from Bangladesh, from abroad.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. From Ajit Mali. What is ovulatory size of GF? Very nice question. Very nice question, Dr. Ajit Mali. Okay. Why I'm saying it's a nice question is there are a lot of problem with the reports in our clinical reports as well as research reports. No, in our animal, in Bos Taurus animals, in Western report, they are telling that that Jersey or Holstein Friesian animals are having a ovulatory size is about 15 to 18 millimeter. But in our experience, in our crossbred, Jersey crossbred or HF crossbred, we are going to have a size of 9 to 12 millimeter size. 9 to 12 millimeter size only we are having. So we are getting animals with 14 millimeters. I won't say that it is not having 14 millimeter size, 15 millimeter we are getting, but it is very, very, very meager. But actually, the average, when you studied an average study, and that's also been presented in the recent conference, 12 millimeter is the average size of a ovulatory in case of bovine. And buffalo, it is much less, it is only 11, 10. Even I can see animals with 8 to 9 millimeter size follicles at the time of ovulation. It is possible in our animals, but we should not go by the West. That only I always say that we should not go for Western reports. We should not go for Western reports. We should have our own standards for our own animals. For our animals, you can take it as 9 to 12 millimeter size is the ovulatory size of our animal follicles. Thank you. And one insulin will be given. I have already answered, I think, Dr. Selvam. Insulin can be given. Insulin can be given, and it should come into practice. It should come into practice. I also have a personal interest for insulin, and it's having a worthy of lot of advantages. Not only for glucose metabolism, it will also improve the blood circulation for the follicles and the ovary in general, and it will have an impact on it. So it should be tried in the future condition. And we also want to do a lot of research in that line, and it can be tried. And there are a lot of reports, Western reports, even Indian reports are there. Insulin can be given with the dose rate of 0.25 international unit per kg body weight subcutaneously. And sir, one more animal showing. Already, I think it has been repeating. I think it is being repeating. Dr. Arivu Selvan, one more animal showing daily in heat. How to proceed, sir? Okay, I already told that if it is going to be daily in heat means, then we have to see that the ovulated disturbance, and again it is going to be having some problem with the CL. So that is the thing I want to say. You just think go for the CL on the 10th day. That's it. Thank you, Dr. Navneet, Dr. Gopinath, Dr. Shobhana Sri. So, Shobhana Sri, my student. Okay, okay. Can infertility treatment is only PGF? I've already answered your question, ma.
Yes.
I think I have answered you. If you are there, you would have heard that. Manisha Pitroda. Okay, can we administer progesterone or Corulon for luteal insufficiency when it should be administered? And okay, this is again one more important question, because as I already told, for luteal insufficiency, progesterone is a problem, insufficiency in such condition. Progesterone, you should know one thing, progesterone is a problem, is having a very, what we can say, low half-life, very short half-life, only 20 to 30 minutes. So normal progesterone cannot be supplemented. It needs continuous supply, continuous supplementation. It needs continuous. So only the preparation is coming by oil preparation, progesterone in oil, Proluton depot. You are giving only depot preparation. So only to have an extended what we can say, extended effect on that. So, but these oily preparations are highly painful. And again, there is a lot of reports with there is no much effect with progesterone supplement, but no need to think of exogenous progesterone. You give day 6 GnRH, that will take care of, because the GnRH will cause accessory corpus luteum and it will go for endogenously, animal itself will secrete progesterone. Animal itself will secrete progesterone. No need for you to go for additional progesterone. Okay, am I clear? So progesterone therapy is there, but better than that is day 6 GnRH by creating an accessory corpus luteum. Corulon, you're also asking for Corulon. Yeah, so it can also be used. It can also be used instead of GnRH. But there is one problem. When if you are going to give Corulon, progesterone secretion is high, but higher enough, it's very high, that is also lethal. There is a saying in Tamil, Alavukku minjanal amirthum nanju. So likewise, if there is going to be even what we can say, a nectar or it a devotional nectar, only to a certain level we have to take. If it is more than honey, if you are going to take it for more than a certain level, it is also going to be a venom. So likewise, Corulon, it will go for a higher progesterone concentration in the mid-cycle. So that's not needed. GnRH is sufficient for your life. So that is the thing. And Dr. Stop screen sharing. I don't know where was that. And Dr. Rajarajan N, herbal or EVM treatments are. EVM treatment is also there. That's only I told that it can also be tried that curry leaves, and there is a combination of 5 herbs are there. And I think Dr. Punimurthy sir will take over that on the day of. If he is not taking, you can very well contact me in my email that I have showed me in the first of the slide, and you can contact me and I can show you. Or you can contact my number also. If you're getting my number, you can contact me also. What is the percentage of Lugol's iodine used in anesthesia? Okay, always Lugol's iodine in anesthesia animals and endomyelitis is always a question. Lugol's iodine, why to whether you have to use it or not, and what is the concentration used? 1% or 2% we are suggesting. Okay, but again, the preparation of stock solution is very important. Okay, very important, and you should know that the dilution is very important. Dilution, if you are not going for proper dilution, what's the importance of dilution of any iodine solution? If it is going to be Lugol's iodine or povidone iodine, whatever the iodine, if you are going to iodine dilute it properly, only free iodine will be getting for the action within the uterus or whatever the thing. If it is not going to be dissolved properly, if it is not proper concentration, free iodine will not be. Iodine is important concentration here. It is going to have the antimicrobial activity. Okay, and it is going to induce the PGF alpha, and that is the thing. All the things are going to happen. But what is the thing? It should be going to 1 to 2%. That is something you have to use it. Okay. And excellent presentation. Thank you, Dr. Arukya Robert and Dr. Desing Raja. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Nimesh, thank you. Dr. Malarkannan for giving new idea. Thank you. Treatment approach. Dr. Malarkannan, Dr. Arun Mishra, how much insulin can be administered? I has already told 0.25 international unit per kg body weight. 0.25 international per unit per kg body weight. That's the dose for bovine. How to be sure that it is day 0? That's the thing. Onset of eustem, that is not in our hand. That the owner has to say. If the animal is in your control, in our control, then we can say we can regularly observe the animal and we can say the onset of eustem first showing the signs of restlessness or other. That is the onset of eustem. Okay, so that's a very basic thing. Restless and mounting over others. That are all the things at the early eustem, onset of eustem. But if the owner is telling, then we have to get the history properly. When the animal started that restlessness or jumping over the other animals or jumping over the human or whatever the thing, that you have to ensure that is the onset of, that is day 0. Dr. Saira Bono, thank you. Okay, Dr. Saktikar, the farmers are doing local practice like giving whole raw egg and neem oil. Really, I am not with this Dr. Shakti Karthikeyan. I am not very sure about this raw egg and neem oil and no other work. And even in veterinary, we are not telling all these things. But what is the condition in that? But without what we can say, whether it is really having an effect on the consumption, we are not knowing. Because in ethno-veterinary, we are giving some other protocol for 5 days, 20 days protocol and all we are giving. That is having very good effect. But this raw egg and neem oil, whether it is going to have an effect, I'm not very sure. I should have placed my fingers crossed because I'm not very sure about the raw egg and neem oil. Okay. Why there is 10 minutes gap for giving clomiphene citrate? That's very good question. Who is Dr. Navneet Krishnan? Yeah, it's very nice. Clomiphene citrate is wonder drug. You just record it. You just record it. Clomiphene citrate is one of the wonder drug in treating anistous conditions. Okay, should be given. It is nowadays coming in the kit. Kit means they'll be having a strip with 3 tablets. The center one is the clomiphene citrate, 300 milligram clomiphene citrate, and the both sides will be having the copper sulfate. It should be given along with copper sulfate alone. In case of bovine, in case of dogs, canine and all, you can give as such clomiphene citrate, no problem. But in case of bovine, you have to give along with copper. What is the use of copper sulfate? Is by giving copper sulfate, when you are going to drench the copper sulfate, it should not be given as a bolus. It should be drenched, it should be mixed, it should be ground, and it should be mixed with a lukewarm water, and it should be drenched. Copper sulfate should be drenched, and within 10 minutes, you should give the clomiphene citrate. Why? Means it will form the esophageal groove. Esophageal groove. What is that esophageal groove? It will go, the bypass, the whatever, if you're going to give the clomiphene citrate after copper sulfate, it will bypass the rumen and it will go into the true stomach. That is the thing. That's only we are going to form that ruminoreticular groove. To form that ruminoreticular groove, we are going to give the copper sulfate, and the effect will be for only 10 minutes. If you're going to give copper sulfate, the effect will be for 10 minutes. After that, the effect will not be there. The ruminoreticular groove will relax. What you will give, your clomiphene citrate will go and dip into the big syntax tank of rumen. So no effect will be there. So for that only you are going to give that 10 minutes, not 10 minutes gap. Within 10 minutes you have to give the clomiphene citrate. Now you should not give after 10 minutes. You give the copper sulfate, drench the copper sulfate, wait for 5 minutes, and within the next 5 minutes you give the clomiphene citrate. Okay. Then Dr. Kalps. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Rajendra Singh, thank you. Dr. Ajay Lakshmanan, what is clomiphene citrate? Mechanism of action, how it works? Clomiphene citrate is an anti-estrogen. If it is anti-estrogen, what it happens? No, estrogen is responsible for the LH surge. When estrogen receptors are being occupied in the hypothalamus, then only the LH surge will happen. The clomiphene, that's I'm putting it in a simpler form. I'm putting it in a simpler form. This clomiphene citrate will go and occupy all the estrogen receptors, so that the brain will, the hypothalamus will think that estrogen is already come, so we will let loose the LH surge. So like that is a concept behind this. It's a very simpler form, colloquial form, I'm telling that. So the clomiphene citrate will go and occupy all the estrogen receptors, so that the hypothalamus will resemble it, will think it as an estrogen, and it let loose that LH surge is necessary for the ovulation or estrus expression. That is the thing. Day Singh Raja, it's eye opener. Thank you. Mutadir Bila, thank you. Yash Kamdi. So can you explain in detail how insulin plays a role? Yeah, there's no detailed explanation, but simple thing I say, the insulin is having a direct effect on steroidogenesis. What is steroids here means? Estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen and progesterone. So how estrogen is, I told that estrogen is very important in estrus expression and again in the ovulation induction. So insulin plays a direct role on steroidogenesis. It plays a role in the steroidogenesis, improves the estrogen secretion. Very simply I'm making it. It's a very big area. Insulin is a very big area, very interesting too. Dr. Revati, thank you. Dr. Pasha, stop the screen. Okay, okay. Dr. Sandeep, can we use day 6 GNR for delayed? No, it's not. No. I actually told day 6 GnRH is not concerned with this. If you want to deal with delayed ovulation or anovulation, you have to go only with onset of GnRH at the onset of estrum. Okay. Why copper sulfate is given first and then I already told that copper sulfate is given for forming that ruminant-reticular groove. So give copper sulfate, wait for 5 minutes, and within the next 5 minutes, you just give the clomiphene citrate. Herbal essentials, I already told that Prajana, Kofiku, and a lot of other things are that. If you go for Sajana and a lot of other things are there, that you can. Dr. Nandini wet one doubt sir, ஒரு ஃபார்ம்ல 10 அனிமல்ஸ் இருக்கு, ரிப்பீட்டட் ஈஸ்டஸ் வருது, ஏஐ பண்றாங்க, ஆனா கன்செப்ஷன் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது. ஸோ திஸ் general question, very general, that repeated, that's the thing I want to say first. You have to see about the estrus expression. First thing, you just observe for the estrus expression, how many days it is going to come in estrus. Okay, first see that. And if it is going to have a clear discharge, don't go by this clear discharge, go for a white side test, very easy white side test. Okay, and if it is going to have a subclinical endometritis, treat for it. If it is going to have a 2 to 3 days estrus, it is indication of delayed ovulation or ovulatory disturbance. Likewise, you have to form, it is a very big area, you can try a lot of things, that is the thing, but it is in a very little portion, we are having a very small time, it is very difficult to, as this is one of the things you can concentrate. There is no single solution for this, we have to check all the animals and tell that. Okay, Dr. Redmi, and good presentation, thank you. Navneet Kumar, thank you. Dr. Nirmalan Dandavarayan, thank you. Dr. Selvam, thank you. Dr. Pasha, screen share, okay, it is in the mid bottom of the screen. Okay, Dr. Thamodaran, thank you. Dr. Rajesh Kumar, thank you. Dr. Your student, thank you. I know Dr. Nandini, I know, you are my student. I won't forget. Dr. Ashok Rohit, thank you. Dr. Jayvel, Guidance President, thank you. Daily heat, how to proceed? I think Dr. Arvisalan is asking repeat. Maybe it is a repeat question. I have already answered. I think if it is my Arvisalan from pharmacology, I don't know whether he is that. And Dr. Sharath Kumar, what if I administer Corlon directly on day 6 instead of JNR? Dr. Sharath, okay, it's a very nice question. As I already told, Corlon can be given. That's not a problem at all. Corlon can be given, but it is having some additional that progesterone secretion is being very high in the mid-cycle, very high. As I already told, very high progesterone is also lethal to the embryo. So that is a problem. GnRH is having a very good effect. Corlon can be tried, but sometimes it is having another end also. Other that is cannot be that. To avoid that only we are going for GnRH. It is a very good drug in case of bovines. Dr. Gauri Shankar, thank you.
We will read out some important questions, sir. Others are repeated questions, sir.
Sarjan, okay. Why the accessory corpus luteum regression occurs earlier? How can treat insulin deficiency of ovary? Exogenous administration advice. Okay, Dr. Sarjan Jacob. Very good. Why the accessory corpus luteum regression occurs? I'm not very couldn't follow, but anyway, accessory corpus luteum also will regress along with the spontaneous corpus luteum. Also, it will, because it will be responsive for the luteal luteinizing, that is a PGF alpha. So it will also regress along with corpus spontaneous corpus luteum. I think the question is not clear. If it's not very clear, you can contact me. And how can treat insulin? As I already told, insulin can be supplemented, and the dose rate of 0.25 international per kg body weight subcutaneous. And Mahendran, very good. What is a copper sulfate? Again, it's a repeat question. I have already repeated. Dr. Navneet, just Dr. Manjula, clomiphene citrate and copper sulfate. I think I've given too much of explanation towards that. Clomiphene citrate. I have to repeat. Answer.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, I think I have given them. Oh.
At least some 2 or 3 important questions are there, sir. Others are some repeated questions.
Okay.
One is we can we give a progesterone injection on day 5 or 6 to suppress the action?
Okay. Can we give progesterone? Yeah. To suppress action of estradiol causing mid-cycle estrus. Yes. No need. Actually, I told no need to suppress the mid-cycle estrus. The problem is why there is a mid-cycle estrus is there is a progesterone insufficiency. So that only it is showing. But what's the problem? I saw if you are going to give progesterone, it is having a very short half-life. And if you want to, it should be given in a continuous. You can even, there are some reports, like papers with introducing a CADR. That's not a problem. But there is no need. You are having a very cheap alternate of giving GnRH on day 6. You just try this one. That is more than no need of giving progesterone. Proton depot is a highly painful injection. Highly painful injection. No need to give it. Okay. So only I'm giving an alternate. Sir, is it available, advisable to use PGF alpha in ROP on first day itself? PGF alpha can be given in the, what's the action of PGF alpha in ROP is, it will improve the uterine contractions. Okay, it will improve the uterine contractions only. Its action is only in intra contractions, and so that only it can help in expelling the placenta, retained placenta. That's the thing useful of PGF alpha. And understand GnRH induced corpus luteum persists only for 7 days. How much duration of extra progesterone is necessary to compensate? No need. Actually, the main period where you need the progesterone is from day 7 to day 15 or 16, where there is going to be and to be more precise, between day 10 to day 16, because embryo is going to coming into the uterus, and then it is going to get nidation. That is, it is going to have that maternal recognition of pregnancy, that is occurring between day 13 to day 15 or 16 in case of. So that is very, during that period, it is very important to have that progesterone. So that only we are going to, accessory CL will be there till the spontaneous CL is also there. So GnRH, if it is accessory for 7 days, is not a problem. But it's not, it will not be 7 days. You just see, it will be there by, if you give by day 6, okay, GnRH, day 8 itself, the accessory corpus luteum will be formed, and it will be there till day 15 or 16, till the spontaneous corpus luteum lyses. Till that day itself, it will be the accessory corpus luteum. So there is no chance of 7 days and all. It is for more than 9 to 10 days. So it's not a problem. Thank you. And sir, I have to specify what will be the ethno drugs for anesthesia. So I think it will be very preliminary if I say that, because Dr. Punimuthu sir is going to take a class, and it will not be nice if I'm going to reveal everything today. But one thing I want to say is, any combination with curry leaves, curry, that is more than that is very important in inducing the ethno drugs. If you ask for proprietary drugs, Prajana and Janava, very good effect is there. And what can we give? And what can we give a prolonged estrus animal, like which is on eat for continuous? That's the thing I'm telling. If the repeated insemination itself is a treatment. Inseminate today, ask the animal, and in my request, I request all the veterinarians to go for second day insemination. Don't leave it. Okay. Nowadays we are getting lot of cases with prolonged estrus. So that's a problem with delayed ovulation or anovulation. We are not knowing. The first step, we are not knowing whether there's going to have a delayed ovulation or not. You inseminate, then repeated insemination. Inseminate today, inseminate tomorrow. If the animal is showing the signs next day, you also go for third day insemination. No problem at all. Animal, there are chance of conception, 5% more conception rate is there if you're going to inseminate continuously. That's a line of treatment. If that animal is repeating again in the next time, you go for onset of GnRH at the onset of eastrum, or you go for estrus synchronization protocol, OVSync, or any other thing. Any protocol you can try. You can contact me in mail or in, I can explain you. Okay. Share the slides. Many thanks.
What is the concept in giving GnRH at the time of AAE, sir? Is it advisable?
It's there. It's there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is the concept in giving GnRH at the time of AAE? Is it advisable?
Okay. Yeah.
Which is better at the AAE?
Yeah. That's the thing. At the time of AAE, that's not a problem. If you are going to give GnRH near the onset of estrus, that's not a problem. But usually, you should give the GnRH at the onset of estrus. But most of the time, we are getting the animals only in the middle of the estrus. Previous day animal will be in eastrum, and today only we will bring the animal, and there won't be any much effect, but we are giving for our satisfaction. I won't say there won't be any ovulation effect, but there is no such chances always. The ovulation will go only because of your GnRH injection, but you can give, but the precise time of giving the GnRH is only at the onset of eastrum. That's the thing I want to share. Okay. Next thing.
Can AAE be done in metastral bleeding? which will cause endometriosis.
Metastal bleeding, that itself shows that the already follicle is gone. Okay, there is no use in India inseminating the animal in the metastal bleeding. But that is the thing. Sometimes they're telling that third day it is coming. No, third day it is coming. Sometimes ovulation has occurred. That's already the ovulation occurred. Sometimes if the ovulation has occurred in the nearest 1 or 2 hours before, or 3 or 4 hours or before, or 6 hours before, if you are inseminating, there are chances for cancer. But it is not advisable to inseminate in the metastal bleeding time. It is not advisable always. It is not advisable. No need to inseminate the animal. You'll better leave for next cycle. That's the thing.
Okay, sir. How to treat split heat and gestational heat, sir? Is there any?
Split heat. Split heat is I don't know what you're meaning by split heat.
That is mid-cycle heat, sir. That is
mid-cycle histamine. If you are dealing by mid-cycle histamine, that's the thing. Mid-cycle histamine, this is the only thing. You give DNRH. If that animal, if you are seeing that animal is showing regularly a mid-cycle histamine, you just inseminate the animal and give day 6 GnRH. Blindly, you gave day 5 or day 6 GnRH, you blindly give. No problem. Animal will not show signs of histamine within 1 week or 10 days. It will not show the signs of mid-cycle histamine. It will not show the cycle histamine.
And next question is, what is the treatment when animal shows vaginal prolapse during estrus?
Vaginal during estrus. That is again, that is a thing, important question, because vaginal prolapse during estrus shows that there is a estrogen effect. It's going to be estrogenic effect because of estrogenic effect. And in the case of old animals, even sometimes in case of native breeds, we are seeing such conditions. The younger animals in heifers also we are seeing such conditions, and pregnant animal within 2 to 3 months also we are seeing that. And estrus, the effect is highly estrogenic. This is because of estrogen effect, and you can go for GnRH or LH to induce the ovulation. And you have to check for cystic ovary condition. If there is a cystic ovary, also there will be a problem in case of estrus. So if you should see that it's not having a cystic ovary, and if there is a prolonged that the persistence of that follicle is there, give a shot of GnRH or LH so that follicle is luteinized, so that the estrogen effect will be reduced and the prolapse will be reduced subsequently. Anything more?
Is metronidazole and 5% povidone combination is correct for intrauterine therapy?
No, which one? Metronidazole
and 5% povidone iodine combination.
Yeah, it can be given. It can be given. No problem at all. It can be given. Povidone iodine is a very good. Again, thing you have to dilute it. It is very important. The free iodine is very important. Free iodine is very important. You dilute it in the so 5%, 2% is more than sufficient. 2%, 5%. That is the more than sufficient. That will be good for your very good effect. 2%, not 2%. Actually, 10 to 20%. That is more than sufficient in case of povidone iodine. What are povidone iodine? It will be good. Okay, free iodine will be available for action. Next.
Then treatment for pneumovagina, sir. Any
which one?
Any treatment for pneumovagina, sir?
Pneumovagina is not a pathological condition. Okay, this is a way that animal is exhibiting its resistance to the rectal examination. It's a very managementally itself it should be treated. Managementally only we have to treat it. How to manage it is that's very simple. If you're having to if there is, you just keep if there is a pneumorectum, you just tickle the dorsal floor of the top floor of the rectum. Sometimes the peristalsis will initiate and it will go after. Otherwise, what we can do that you just keep that. You can keep the hand and a slight pinching in the ventral commissure of the vulva. That also will stimulate the animal to purgate that that air inside the pneumovagina and the pneumorectum, and it will go for it. That's the thing. So it can be tried. The next one.
Thank you, sir. I think most of the questions were answered, and we'll conclude, sir. It's getting late, and 10 minutes only remaining for our meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for the.
Now I request our technical committee chairman, Dr. S. Sivaraman, sir, to thank our guest lecturers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satish Kumar, sir, for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Almost you have cleared all the doubts asked by the field veterinarians and in the practical level.
Yeah.
And I hope this will be the most useful thing for their practice.
Thank you.
So, on behalf of Lava Tamil Nadu, I express my wholehearted thanks to you, and we'll meet soon in another topic in this platform with you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the whole organization team and specifically Sivaraman. And I will be happy to meet you all in another forum also. Thank you. Thank you very much, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And another announcement, Dr. Tanibal will say.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next Wednesday, we are very much glad that Dr. Punyamurthy sir will be sharing a platform with us, and he will enlighten. He is the authority in ethno-veterinary practice. He has accepted our invitation to join us on Wednesday, and I expect every LAVA member to be present during the next lecture on Wednesday by Dr. Punyamurthy sir. And thank you one and all, and do join for the next meeting. Thank you everyone, and we'll conclude this meeting. Thank you.
Performance by an actor in a leading role.
Ladies and gentlemen,